so hot. These sleeves. When I first watched Pride and Prejudice, and in the same year, the same month even, I read the book. So I was very young and very naive about many things, and of course it impressed me a lot, and it just fed my sensitive soul and everything that I ever liked about the romance and the books and that era that the action takes place. And many things changed, and I've grown up eventually. I tried to, but still part of me wants to stay a child, and I think that's good. But anyway, but I watched the movie, the 2005 version, the rough count would be 50 or 60 times, and it's not approximate because the first year I watched it 20 times, and then I watched it with so many people because I wanted to show that the movie, those who didn't see it at that time, I wanted to show it. And so I watched it so many times, and every time I watch it, I fall in love again. So I have a family member that you probably know him in the previous video, and for those interested, just scroll down. And my brother says always that the story kind of is, there is no story, but the movie is of course beautiful. And for me, both the story and the movie work together and the music and the scenery and the cinematography. I can talk about it for ages actually, but you just have to see it. Yes, so there is, I think the movie has enough advertisement and commercials for about 20 years now, and it has it was enough praised already without me, but I'm such a fan, and we watched it yesterday with my family, and every time I see it, I don't get bored because the more I live, the more I understand things, and probably the story doesn't impress me that much, and it did when I was so young, but it still talks about such universal things. And imagine that you live in that society of the 19th century when the book was written, and you don't have much to do other than go to the balls and invite guests and make matches for your kids, or for when you're done with that, with all the rest. And imagine you have 5 daughters, and you need to, of course you want the best for them, and your family is in poor state, and there is this cousin that is going to inherit everything eventually. What are you going to do? So what I like about the book and the movie is its humor, and actually if you read the book you can see even more humor, even more sarcasm, as well as it could be done 200 years ago. And I like to talk about the biographies of the writers because the society they lived in, their background, because it actually shows pretty much what you see in the book, but sometimes it shows what you don't see, because many fans and even not fans, those who just did their research, they know that. And Jane Austen never actually got married, and she even didn't have any relationship. And she died at a rather early age. And she didn't experience much. That's why she probably had even more time to write and to think. What I like about the books of that time is that people actually had time to write, and they wrote so much because, not only because they had these journals and magazines they needed to put their work into, and the more they wrote, the more money they would get. That's also a fact, but they also wrote because they had this candlelight and their thoughts and eternal time to think and to put their words into this plays and works that we still read and still are in awe. How much the person, the author, could dwell into the human psychology and society all the time they lived in. And if you think about that, the problems are still the same, just the background changes. And the humor that Jane Austen uses in her book is just another story, and you just have to read it to feel it, to see it. But I think the movie, the 2005 movie, greatly shows, even adds to the humor that was already described in the book. Just because you couldn't actually do anything about that, the norms and the forms of that time. You could only laugh about it and just live with that, because people don't change by some magic trick. It just takes time. It's the same. For me, it's the same. There are still some voices that can go against the society, against what is good and what is not, but each and every era thinks that the society is rotten, and time passes and we just see the drawbacks and nothing really changes. And what is so great about the characters that could be called utopian for some, especially Mr. Darcy, yes, because even his name is used in so many books and movies after this book originally was published. It's like 200 years of span of enormous influence it had on so many plays and works after that. And even, I don't know, maybe the most vivid example, recent one, which can hint something, is Bridget Jones' Diary. Of course, it's also like more than 20 years right now, but the main character, one of the main characters, is also Mr. Darcy, by no surprise. So what's so great about this male character that inspired so many after that? Because he is, first of all, at first when you see him and when you get introduced to him, he is so out of this world. He doesn't want to communicate with anyone, and you can't just actually live in the society if you don't at least try to be polite, at least try to put a smile, at least try to just invite someone to dance with them, especially when you are at the ball. And that is all. And Mr. Darcy is practically the opposite. He is such a hermit, but he is so rich and good looking, both in the movie and the book, but such a hermit and so strict looking. And so a lot of people are prejudiced against him because he looks so proud. And actually the title Pride and Prejudice is about the female and male, and it is going against each other, but still you can't actually tell for sure who is pride and who is prejudice, because they are both all the main characters have the same traits. They just see it in the end that they both are very proud and they both had prejudice against each other, and they just didn't get the things at first, and they didn't see the things. So it takes time, and it takes other people, it takes situations to introduce us to the story and to dwell into it and to understand and to deepen into this world. But it also takes time for these characters to fall in love with each other, because it's not like this instant romance. At first they even hate each other, and they probably hate is the strong word. They just don't like each other. And I guess what we use in psychology a lot when we see that something that you don't like, something that probably awakes some not good feelings in you, as for example, this or that person does something and you can say something against that, and you will prejudice against that, but in the end you see that probably something inside of you, deep down inside of you, could do the same, and that's why you hear that so much, because you deep down inside it's the fear that you could do something that is ugly in your mind. And so so the main characters, Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy, they don't like each other at first, but probably know the story already. I guess there are not so many people that don't know this book whole story. But I like the quote that I once stuck upon, and I don't usually quote quotes, but I like that you see, the book is not about I'll change so that you like me, yes, in the end, but I'll change because I love you and I'll do everything for you, but it doesn't mean that you have to love me back. And so this altruistic love that Mr. Darcy shows to Elizabeth, even though she is so prejudiced against him and she is so angry with him and she declines his proposal even, and she doesn't see him at all, and she despises him at that point already. Even so, he does things for her family. He mends things that he did wrong, because he was also wrong at first about many things. He changes, and he changes probably for her, because he tells that himself, but he first of all changes so because he understands that that's probably the right thing to do. So he changes as probably we wish that many people could change for themselves and for the better, or the society, the people they love, and just in general. So it only brings goodness into the world. So I could rewatch, and I think I'll rewatch it till the end, this movie. And I know there are many versions. I'm not talking even about the 1995 version, there are earlier versions, black and white movies. So, but this 2005 movie will always have a special place in my heart because I know it by heart, and I know every scene, I know every dialogue, and of course I can recommend to watch it in English because I watched it in other languages too, but the English version just gives the original. It has some quotes, it has some words from the book, yes, the literal quotations, and you can see the word games, the beauty of the language, the deep meaning in the dialogues, the hidden humor, and not so hidden in the original language. Yes, because the translations, they kill it, and I can't compare, and I see it. It changes the whole experience when you. So if you don't know English, for example, you can watch it with subtitles at first, and then you can rewatch it in English at some point in your life. But still, if you don't even know the language, you can watch the beautiful scenes, the music. I mean, it's art. Even if you don't get the story, because I had these opinions and all these opinions that people say, well, just another story, matrimonial story, nothing special. Well, what's special about it? Yes, and so of course we have this enormous amount of love stories that at first they hate each other and then they like each other. But again, let's not forget that it's a 200-year-old story that shows the society of that time. It has humor, it has sense, it has love, it has feelings, it has heart and soul behind it, and it has its spice and little things that make it special and make it different still from all of the rest of such stories. And even the scenes that probably don't make sense, or I don't know, maybe are too romanticized for some. For example, when Mr. Darcy gives his hand to Elizabeth suddenly, and then he does something like that, and the director shows this scene. It's special for me. And for example, when Mr. Darcy and his friends leave the estate, and it's a dark moment, and so the director shows how the whole house is closed, and the curtains are closed, and the clothes are put on the tables, and the music plays, and even that is special. And of course the picturesque fields and nature, the beautiful English side nature, it's just breathtaking. And, yeah, what can I say? I wish everybody a love like that.